Okay, so now I want to talk about getting set up to make the print that I'm going to make. Okay, so now I'm going to use a different easel, so I'm going to open up my drawer. I'm actually going to need my grain focuser now. I'm going to need the negative carrier. I'm going to need the print easel. I don't need the contact sheet easel anymore. And I'm going to put these away as well. Okay. Okay, now putting the negatives into the carrier here. Okay, so this little knob is, or nub, I guess you'd say, is actually going to go down. So I'll put the negative in here. There's a little handle here. I'll pull up, and then I slide that in, drop it in, put that handle down, and then I want to show you. There's a couple of handles here. This handle here basically enlarges and decreases the physical space that the image is going to be projected on down here. This actually focuses the image. So when you see me, because it's going to be tough when I turn the lights off, enlarging and decreasing the size of the image, I'm using this outer knob. When I'm focusing, I'm using the inner knob. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. I'm going to find the negative I want here. I want to try to keep it as clean as possible. I'm having a hard time figuring out which one I want to do here, because they're really difficult to see. I'm going to go for the darker one. Okay, and now I'm going to put the negatives in with these little nubs here. Okay? And I'll close it, get it into place, and then put it in the enlarger. Now I'm going to turn the light off. The light is the little key, and then I'm going to hit the focus. Oh, this one's going to be tough to focus. I'm going to give this a shot, but I don't know what this is going to work like. So first thing I want to do is I want to enlarge it so that it fills that frame, and then I need to focus it. And that's going to be the tricky part, because like I said, it's hard for me to see anything here because it was astronomy photography. You know what? I might not be able to use this. Unfortunately. I really wanted to do this, but I can't even find a detail to focus on. So I'm actually I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna choose a different negative. Okay, so I've switched to another image. This is an image of a rock formation. Because the other one was just not going to work. Okay, and what I do is here, I'm just basically, hopefully you can see that it's soft and then sharper when I use the focuser. I'm going to zoom this back down in because I want more of that image in the frame, and then I'll focus some more. And I'm just basically eyeballing. Now the grain focuser comes in when you focus as much as you can with the naked eye. What you're going to do is, you're going to put the grain focuser down on the object, on the easel, and then you look through, and you're going to try to find an area of detail. Because these are images from a pinhole camera, it's a little tricky because the images from a pinhole camera are just naturally kind of soft. So I think I have it about as clean as I've got it, as I want it. So the next step is I'm going to make a test strip. So again, making a test strip just by, I'm going to do it 1 second at a time, 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5, and determine what the appropriate exposure is. So I have my paper in, and I'm just going to make the test strip now because I want to keep on showing you guys how to make this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the last one. And then I'll take it through the chemistry and I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. Okay, so it looks like I accidentally moved mine in the process somewhere. So that's why it's it's got some double imaging going on, but it's still helpful. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it looks like 6. I'm gonna go 3 or 4 here. It was kind of a, I'm probably gonna go for the 4. It's my best guess, and it's hopefully a little sharper. We'll get to see the contrast. If the contrast isn't everything it should be, that's something we deal with contrast filters later in the semester. Okay, so I said between 3 and 4. I was just going to go with 4, but I'm actually going to go 3.5 here, and I'll hit it. And then process. And I'll show you after I run through the curve of chemistry what that looks like. Okay, so I now have the resulting print. It's in the water wash, and it's interesting. I'm kind of excited about it. The contrast could certainly be a lot stronger, but it has pretty good contrast. I have some things that I need to take care of. There's a problem on the negative clearly. And I think I could play with the focus a little bit more. But as far as a pinhole camera image, I need to try to maybe get some more focus out of it and some more contrast out of it. Let me zoom in here and hope it gets better focus so you guys can see. But I'm feeling pretty good about it. It's just an interesting little structure, earth structure. And because I liked the way the texture of it worked with the pinhole camera. Okay, so one last thing I'll talk about here in a second, and that's cleaning up. Okay, so like we always say, we leave things cleaner than when we came in. So when I'm done, I'm always going to put things away properly. My grain focuser, make sure everything's in there like it should be. Make sure you take your negatives. I can't tell you how many times I find homeless negatives, orphan negatives. Make sure your negatives get back into your containers. And that's not the right one. Where did that go? And exactly like I was talking about, this is what happens. I'll bet you. Yeah, there we go. I stuck it underneath here. So make sure you leave with all of your things. So I'll put this back into my negative carrier. And then back into my binder. I'm going to unplug, put the timer back, put my paper away properly because I don't want to destroy it. Make sure you take all this with you, and then check to make sure it doesn't need to be wiped down. And actually I could do a little bit of wiping here. And then also make sure you put the trash bag over the top, because dust is bad for photography. Okay, and then I'll turn this over here. And do cleanup on this side. Developer is only good for one use. So this is not going to be any good for anybody else. By the time anyone else gets in here, that developer's no good. Developer goes down the drain. I have the jets on. I'm just going to set this down, but I need to eventually clean that up. My stop bath, I can see, is still yellow. So I will grab my funnel, turn on this water here, make sure the funnel is rinsed. Okay, put the funnel in, and then very carefully put the stop bath back in. The fixer needs to be tested, so I'll stick my funnel over here to get rinsed a little. I'm going to grab the hypo check, and I'm going to check both trays of fixer. 1, 2 drops, it's clear. 1, 2 drops, it's clear. So my fixer is still good. I'll finish rinsing out my funnel here, and then put the fixer back. Always using the funnel. Try to minimize the amount of splashing. Don't overfill the funnel and overflow things, if you can help it. Because these are both fixer, I'm not too worried about rinsing in between. Just make sure I get into the right bucket. Now, how I can tell when I'm going to actually use the fixer 2 as fixer 1, I usually just rotate it. When this fixer goes bad, I'll slide this one down. So now that's all back. I'm going to grab a little scrubber, and I'm going to rinse out. Each of these, I'm actually going to turn this off so I have some more water pressure. Turn off my jets. There we go. And if there's any crusties, make sure you scrub them off. This has quite a bit of nastiness on it, these ones for some reason. Okay. Anything that's on the table, give that a scrub. Make sure everything's just nice and rinsed out. And when they're rinsed out, then you can bring them over here and you're just going to stack them to dry. So put them in order, developer, then stop bath, fixer 1, fixer 2. Put your funnel back after it's been rinsed. There's a little bit of gunk here on the table, so I'm just going to get some water and scrub that. Ready? So I want you guys just to use common courtesy. Try and keep it as clean as possible. I'm done with the chemistry at this point. Rinse my hands. Rinse out the cylinder I used earlier. Okay. And I can turn this off. And the last thing I'll do is I'm going to take my print, put it on the drying rack, and then I'm going to dump the water, and I'm done. I'm good to go. I'm going to turn everything over. All of my prints, my photogram, my contact sheet, and my print are on the drying rack. Remove the sponge. Set that in the sink. Carefully dump the water. Turn this upside down so it will dry. And that's it. We're good to go in here.